do it after I do Somebody left this one.
Shri Krishna Di Radhe Radhika Radha Adita Sahite Nari Jugalani Haran Jivatarite Hari Shri Krishna Di Radhe Radhika Radha Amito Sahite Radhika Charana Tajiya Rama Charike Pralaya Radhika Ratare Satabara Mari Shedukala Marasaya Shri Krishna Virahe Radhika Radhasa Amita Sahite Nari Vihina Radha Charana Yugare Vaichara Pavo Pare Ahatra Jajana More Doya Kori Kami Bhajavane Lage Shri Krishna Virahe Radhika Radhasa Amita Sahite Nari Dilaksa Manjari Ananga Manjari Shirupa Manjari Amate Suri তুলিয়া লহরী জপদে দেহ মোরে সিরা আমাকে তুলিয়া লহরী জপদে দেহ মোরে সিরা শ্রীকৃষ্ণ বিরাহে রাধিকা রাধা আমি তো সাহিতে নাই চিন্তামণিময়
Wow.
Chintamani Maya Radha Kunda Tata Kahe Kunda Shata Chintamani Maya Radha Kunda Tata Kahe Kunda बोल बोयार मदन मोहन
Page 140. 143. 143 is the black.
हरि बोल बोयार मदन मोहन
Page 205 is the black one. So, I'm going to be giving assignments for everybody to learn new songs, okay? Ananda, you're going to get a song tomorrow to sing.
Everybody can have a phone too and record and listen during the day.
You can record the one you're going to do. If you don't know how to do it, we'll practice it together.
Yeah.
We'll give the melody and practice it together, and then, you can tell me if you need 1 night, 2 night prepare. Okay, everyone
That's
can
a
sing.
good idea also, Prabhu, if you give the assignment and where we can listen to it.
I know which one.
Yeah, we'll practice it together and you can record it. And you can record the whole evening. And then you'll practice it, okay? Yes. That was cool. They're gonna do one really gay, but I don't know if they're full. The really sweet one about one every night.
Can y'all sing that
So
again?
there's a beautiful song about the glories of Vrindavan called Mahabhava Chintamani. Is it?
I was just thinking we don't necessarily have to do it. It's very sweet song.
We need another
No,
black?
we need the black books. No, for others.
Yeah.
What is it
We
called?
also have Mahabhava Chintamani.
Excuse me.
Okay? So yeah, that's a good idea. We can record all just by audio, all the bhajans.
Yeah.
But then we'll go over which ones you want to sing, and then we'll make sure you know the melody, and we have a day or two practice
So on
it.
the side note,
Okay?
people have been asking already for us to sing.
Yeah.
People want to
Great.
know how it's.
So this is page 213 in this book. I'll give you a brief introduction to this song. You have a translation? Oh, it's
213.
213 in this? Wait, what? In ours?
there it is.
Just looking up, but you can search by the first.
What is it called?
Why is it not going up top? It's not the right one. It's not showing. Now it's good. Mahabhava Chintamani Udbhavita Tanukani Shaki Pati Saja Prabhavati Karunya Tarunya Ar Lavanya Amrita Dhar Tahish Nata Lakshmi Jaya Sati. So the 3 kinds of Radharani's transcendent the baths described here. Baths. Srimati Radharani's transcendental bodily form has arisen out of Mahabhav Chintamani. Means the touchstone jewel of the topmost ecstatic emotions expressed in her love for Sri Krishna. She is the decoration of the Lord of the Sakis. Sakipati Saja Prabhavati. So Krishna is Sakipati, and she is the decoration of the Lord of the Sakis. She is effulgent with divinely splendorous potency. She takes her first bath in the shower of the nectar of compassion. Her second bath in the nectar of youth, and her third bath in the nectar of bodily luster. Karunya, Tarunya, Ar, Lavanya, Amritadar. Okay, these are 3 kinds of. So we'll ask you tomorrow night. What are Radharani's 3 kinds of bath?
Compassion,
Youthful beauty.
youthfulness, and bodily luster.
Okay, it's a good combination. If she wasn't compassionate, it would be a problem. Tahish Nata Lakshmi Jaya Sati. She thus conquers the beauty of even the goddess of fortune, and is endowed with the prominent quality of chastity. The next one. She wears the silken sari of modesty, and on her forehead she wears the red kumkum dot of loveliness. Her body is decorated with pictures drawn in musk, and she wears a necklace that is adorned with the fresh jewels of the ecstatic symptoms, shivering in the body, flowing of tears from the eyes, standing of hairs in the body, being stunned, perspiring, faltering of the voice, inactivity and madness. 3rd verse. Shri Radha. Meditate on the form of Shri Radha and hear her glories. Try to capture her in your heart. So that when you close your eyes, you can see Shri Radha. Shri Radha is very much beautified by wearing the flower garland strung with her 25 transcendental qualities. And she is clothed in the 2-part silken garment of both sober and non-sober emotional ecstasies.
Wow.
Covered indignation constitutes her braided and ornamented hair. Covered indignation. So it's slightly covered, but it's there. And she is radiant with the tilak of auspicious fortune. The name and glories of Krishna are the delight of her ears. So when we're chanting the Mahamantra, that's why we do the bhajans. Because we're supposed to chant Mahamantra 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, but when we're chanting, what do we think about? So we learn these bhajans and then we can meditate on these things while we chant. What is Radharani's 3 kinds of back? What are her 25 qualities? What is her hair? It's her covered indignation.
Indignation.
Means like, how dare you? This is indignation.
When she's afraid,
Okay? Covered indignation. It's verse 4. Srimati Radharani's lips have become very red from chewing bagel nuts, and the black beryllium of cunningness is clearly visible on her eyes. So her kajal is her cunning. Okay, so we're going to have a quiz tomorrow. Her smile is like sweet camphor, and she is always fond of joking. So Radharani has a great sense of humor. She sits upon a bed of pride in a palace of fame and glory, and a garland of extraordinary transformations of ecstatic love hangs swinging from around her neck. So her garland is her extraordinary transformations of fame. 5. Her chest is covered by the bodice of loving anger. She plays on a lute called kachapi, which is turtle-shaped. So someone needs to find a turtle-shaped lute for Radharani. Okay? Ananda, assignment, taking notes? Turtle-shaped lute. Okay? What is she playing on the lute? What is she playing? What is she playing on the lute? Yes. She's playing on the lute, which is turtle-shaped. She's playing to announce the conquest of her rival Chandrama. Radha is always fond of placing her playful lotus-like hands on the shoulders of 2 of her girlfriends. Her youthful form is very graceful and slender, and she is the exclusive distributor of the nectar of Lord Shyamasunder. Shyama Shyamamrita Vitarani. Shyama Shyamamrita Vitarani. She is the exclusive distributor of the nectar of Shyama. 6. Eheno radhika pada tomadera shusham pada dakne trina jache tavapai. O Rupa and Raghunath, they are here for us. Rupa and Radhika. Your great treasure is the lotus feet of such a Radhika. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, oh, this Bhaktivinoda who is very fallen and lowly, prays at your lotus feet with the straw off the street between his teeth. Please bestow upon me a nectarian particle of eternal service to Srimati Radharani. So what do we learn? What's your favorite thing with this song?
covered indignation.
Covered.
The 3
What is she announcing on her lute? The conquest over her rival. Okay.
Pampered smile.
3 kinds of bath, Tirtha.
Usefulness.
First is the nectar of compassion. Each one is a nectar, you have to remember. It's Karunyamrita, Karunyamrita, Lavanyamrita. Lavanya means something that's like glistening, shining. Lavanya, splendorous. So it's the nectar of her splendor, her molten gold complexion. Tarunya means her youth. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. Taruni means very beautiful young maiden. And Karunya means her mercy. Okay, so we'll sing the bhajan. Everyone have it on their books?
Yes.
Very soft and sweet. Mahabhava Chintamani Udbhavita Tanukani Mahabhava Chintamani Udbhavita Tanukani Shakipati Karunya tarunya ar lavanya amritadar Karunya lavanya amritadar Hita Hishnata Lakshmi Jai Sati Alajapata Vastrajar Saundarya Kumkumasa Alajapata Vastrajar Saundarya Kumkumasa Kasturi Chitrita Kalevara Sampashru Pulakaranga Stambasveda Swarabanga Sampashru Pulakaranga Stambasveda Swarabanga Jadyanmahad Navaratnadara Vimshati Guna Pula Mala Sushobhana Guna Pula Mala Sushobhana Dhira Dhira Bhagavata Dasha Pihita Manadamilo Shobhagyati Lakotpalo Pihita Manadamilo Shobhagyati Lakotpalo Krishna Nam Jasha Karnulasha Tambulita Oshta Kotilya Kajvala Spashta Oshta Kotilya Kajvala Spashta Smita Kartu Rita Narmashila Kirti Dasha Antapure Garve Kato Varishpure Kirti Dasha Antapure Garve Kato Varishpure Dulita Prema Vachittamala Dulita Vachittamala Pranaya Rosha Kuntuli Tihitasta Nayumaka Pranaya Rosha Kuntuli Tihitasta Chandra Jayi Kachaparavini Saki Dvaya Sande Lila Karambujar Panashila Shama Vrita Vitarani Shama Shama Vrita Vitarani Ehe Naradika Pada Tomadera Susampada Ehe Naradika Pada Tomadera Susampada Jate Trina Jate Tava Pai E Bhakti Vinod Dina Radha Dasya Vrita Gana Rupa Raghunatha Dehata Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jai Shri Radhe Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Bolo Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe Oh Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Kai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Bolo Jai Jai Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe Hari Bol. So we're going to have short Harikatha on our beloved Param Gurudev, the Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and then we're going to have one more kirtan, Sri Damodarastika, and that's we go to the evening. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnanandanashalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Seva Kunje Braje Ramne Govardhane Giro Sada Radha Kundir Sanande Tattat Siva Pradayakam Gurum Narayana Kyamtam Vande Vinoda Pristakam Yatpada Smriti Matrena Damodhara Prasidati Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी वनमालि हरिप्रिये भजामि राधम् अरविन्दनेत्रं स्मरामि राधं मधुरस्मितस्य वदामि राधं करुणाभराद्रं ततो ममन्यस्ति गतिर्न कापि तवेवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वं नयनं शरणं तिके श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद बोलो हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे बोलो श्री गुरुदेव की श्रील प्रभुपाद की श्रील गुरु परंपरा की ललिता विशाखा देवी की श्री पार्वती मंजरी की श्री श्री राधर मंजू की जय जय श्री राधे श्याम। It seems like a cliche to say we're so fortunate to be here. Seems a bit like redundant. But what other words can we use to personally, myself, describe this feeling? You could say causeless mercy. But we are as fortunate as we are, ready to be actually. Because we can be here and we can still not feel the specialty, the special opportunity of what it means to be here. So really we're trying to develop that mood myself of, what it really means to be here now. We hear this, be here now. But maybe we can have everyone come inside and close these doors. And we can be here now. Spirita, everyone can come inside. So we want to hear the glories of Sri Paramgurudev, Vinod Manjari. Close one side of it. Two sides. So we're trying to develop this understanding of how we can, all I can say is, out of how to express these things, but from our personal experience. So to be honest and authentic, it's important to speak from our own experience. So, I've known Gurudev since I was a young boy, and what it means to be present with such a soul, it's something that, you don't want to take for granted. I remember it was probably 2020, I can look in my chat. Satyaraj Prabhu was writing me, I don't know if he's watching this ever, but he was saying, oh, you should go to see Radha Raman sometimes more often. Go to speak with the Goshais and visit the other temples. I said, I'm so busy, Prabhu, I have so much service every day, I'm doing Shringar and so busy in Vrindavan. He said, you don't know how long you'll be there. You don't know how long you'll be there, take advantage. Soak up the moods of Vrindavan, the dust of Vrindavan, the atmosphere of Vrindavan. Don't let it go to waste. But in temple life, we're so, it's something important also to remember that Krishna he comes for you in a special form. So it's not that we have to run everywhere. So So that's why I said in the beginning, we're actually very fortunate. But how much are we ready to receive that good fortune? Our Gurudev would say that my mercy is flowing like a river for everyone who wants to drink. Take that water and drink. What is that mercy of Gurudev? It's the mood of Gurudev. Padapchayostava vina varadasya meva nanyat kadapi samaye kila devyache sukyayate munamostu namustam nityam tasyayate manavasostu dasostu satyam. It's the mood of Gurudev. Therefore we sing Kodamore Atmasat, O Gurudev, make my heart one with yours. Shamarani Mataji was so lucky that Gurudev gave her the task, the great fortune of painting his heart. What better opportunity to make your heart one with your gurus than to paint it? And so they have appeared here as the painted heart of Sri Guru. It's described in Gita Govinda. It's a very beautiful statement by Jayadev Goswami. That when Radha Krishna are in their pastimes, and when they reach the highest, you could say, culmination of their transcendental ecstatic emotion, Prem Vivarta, at that time, their hearts, which are like lac, reddish with anurag, melt, and it becomes this paint. And with that paint, Cupid paints the walls of the universe with all colors of all beauty that we see in this world. So anything that you find beautiful, maybe you saw the waterfall and it was a little bit beautiful, maybe you saw the sunset, any beautiful flower you've ever seen, any person you feel a sweet friendship towards, attraction towards, understand that that beauty, that sweetness, whatever that is the paint from the heart of Radha Krishna's love. And it's just a indication in this world. Because how can Cupid even represent that? But if it's not represented, how will we be able to catch a glimpse of it? So this is our meditation, that this mood is the mood of their love. Here Krishna is so sweet that he has abandoned any of his sense of godliness. I am not the Purush, I am your servant. It's so hard to get Krishna's flute taken away. You hear so many pastimes, oh, who stole my flute? And Krishna will go, oh, Lalita, you stole it? She says, hey, don't come near me. Is it in your braid? Is it in your kanchuli? Where have you hidden my flute? Oh, he checks all the gopis. No one has his flute. Finally, Radharani is hiding his flute. And they pass it. They each have it, and then Krishna comes and they pass it to another in a hidden way. So Krishna is very attached to his flute. Mother Yashoda gave him this flute when he was a baby. Different kinds of flute: Mohini, Vamsi, Venu, Murali. And within those categories of flutes, he has so many other flutes. And they all have personalities. They're all personalities also. But here Krishna is, without any regret, he's given his flute at the lotus feet of Radharani. So we want to capture this mood. And, we take advantage of the time we're given in this life. Doesn't matter where you are. But if you're with Krishna, or wherever you are, you can bring Krishna there. Whether you're in your car, whether you're at home, whether you're driving, all it takes is closing your eyes and saying his name, and he's there with you. Closing your eyes and saying Radharani's name, she's there with you. And so our process of Krishna consciousness is increasing our connection to Radha Krishna by remembering them. And the best way to remember them, it's like a spell. A mantra is a spell. And it's an invocation. So if you want to invoke Radha and Krishna into your life, all you have to do is say their name. Radhe, she is with you. Krishna, and he is with you. So all we have to do while sitting at home, at least once a day, sit and chant Hare Krishna. Radha and Rani is with me. Krishna is with me. And develop faith that this is true. Krishna and his name is not different. Radha and her name are not different. We chant Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. She will come. But we have to really want her to come and pray for that. We have to chant Krishna's names and really want relation with him. Radha and Krishna are not for the faint of heart, not for the weak of heart, not for those who don't want relationship. If you don't want relationship with God, then you should worship a different God. If you want relationship with God, then worship Radha Krishna. There's so many gods, so many names of God, so many avatars, so many incarnations. If you want relationship with God, then worship Radha Krishna together. Then you can understand them in their whole, that they are not separate. We cannot separate them, and we should not try. And so this is our mood that, a life can pass in a moment if we're absorbed in bhajan. That moment will be so transcendental that it'll be full of bliss at every moment. But we have to develop that absorption. And it doesn't mean we give up our duties. Krishna taught Arjuna, and follow your duties. Don't give up your duties. Don't prematurely try to give up everything. Raghunath Das Goswami Mahaprabhu said, Gare jao na hao batul. Don't be like a madman. I know you've been bitten by the snake of prema. And that poison is spread throughout your body, and now you're becoming maddened. But develop some maturity. Learn how to, it's said that a shallow pool, easily you can see ripples. But a deep, deep lake, it's very sober. Like the ocean. We want to learn how to cover our moods and protect them. Narottam Das Thakur says, Apane bhajana kata na kahibo jata tata. We were saying this in a previous class. Until you're ripe, don't try to give away your fruits. Oh, now I'm very advanced in spiritual life. Let everyone take of my fruits. But I'm like, am I a sour mango, just freshly budded? It's very sour and astringent. Just at first, but oh, I have a fruit. And I want everyone to taste my fruit. So we should develop some mood of deep gravity. That this is not a cheap thing. Prabhuji would always tell me, don't be satisfied with what you have. You should want more. Until you have tasted that fruit of Krishna prema, you should always want more. Oh, I'm satisfied in my life. I'm chanting Harinam, worshipping the deities, doing arati. But at every moment, am I relishing the nectar of Krishna Nam, Radha Nam, of their service in the spiritual world? Have I realized my internally conceived form? Not cheaply, not artificially, not, oh, someone has said I'm this, someone has said that. That is all, what we say, hocus pocus. Until it's real, it's not real. And when it's real, you know it's real. Prabhuji loves to tell this story. Oh, there's a young girl. She's like 5, 6 years old, and her mother's given her dolls, and she plays with the dolls. She's very attached to the dolls, and then she calls them her babies, and then she tells her mother, when am I going to have my own baby? I want a baby. And she starts asking her mother day after day after day, 3, 4, 5, 10 times, when will I have my baby? And Mom, when I have my baby, if I'm sleeping, make sure to wake me up. If I'm sleeping when I have my baby, make sure to wake me up, Mom. And her mother very sweetly, pats her on the head and says, oh Lali, oh dear daughter, don't worry. When you have your baby, you'll be awake. No one will have to tell you. The spiritual life is like that. Sometimes we get like, Brody says, oh, fresh grass, baby grass, oh, very green. But then it's very easily to be trampled. You want to become strong, like a fresh tree, new sprouts. Become strong in your spiritual life and grow. Help first develop your roots. Make your roots so strong that no turbulent winds can uproot them. And then you want to give it more and more nourishment from your mother, earth. What is your mother, earth? Guru, mantra. Guru is father, mantra is mother. It's described in Sastra. Guru Pita Mantra Mata. So if you take shelter of Guru and chant your mantra, that mantra is your nourishment. It's called Mantra Mayupasana. It's worship by focusing on a mantra and being so absorbed in that, like the Goswamis. You should not be satisfied, 10 times, 20 times. What's the number of the mantras you chant until you realize the devata of the mantra? And then that nourishment makes you so strong that then you become a tree onto which many people can take shade. Many people can take the fruits. So therefore the first fruit, if we want to give it away, then the tree's growth becomes stunted. And we stop at a certain part of the spiritual journey. Oh, I'll be a guru. Oh, I'll become a great personality, wealthy, famey. So many people will glorify me, and I'll feel very spiritual because I have so many followers. I must be important. So many people worship me. I must be an important personality. But has Krishna Prem come in my heart or not? Have all anarthas gone or not? Therefore, we should not be satisfied with our progress. The symptoms of bhav on the sadhaka stage are very important. Shantir avyartha kalatvam, viraktir mana shunyata, asha bandha shamutkanta, nama gane siddharuchi. Always having taste and chanting Krishna's names. Final. Shantir avyartha kalatvam, not being satisfied with wasting a single moment. Meaning, Shantir avyartha kalatvam. We don't want to waste a single moment. We should always be active in our spiritual life. There's no time to waste. When Param Gurudev was in his later pastimes, for 16 years, he hardly ever bathed, hardly ever changed his clothes, and he only ate fruit and milk. At no time. His disciples would say, why don't you change your cloth? He said, saffron is always clean. Once a month, Purnima, shaving and changing pass. His sevak was not eating properly because he was only taking the remnants of his Guru Maharaj. But his body was not ready for that. Such deep, when you're really performing bhajan, you don't need anything. Just out of some kind of social custom, you'll take a little something. 2 chickpeas, a little buttermilk, just so that, keep body and soul together. But really it's just like a custom. But this sevak also, and he got sick. Param Gurudev's disciple, first, very prominent disciple, Sajan Sevak, who was actually Harinam disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, a Diksha disciple of Param Gurudev. When he was in his later pastimes, he wouldn't eat. And his disciples would ask him, please, Guru Maharaj, eat. And they would disturb him again and again, eat. They were worried about him. And he would be in such a trance, he would sometimes come out and say, why are you bothering me? I don't have any time. Thakurani's giving me this seva, then that seva, then this seva, then that seva. And you're telling me to feed this material body. You want me to follow your instructions or her instructions? So it's the depth of our spiritual life, we have to try to dig deep and go deep. Because otherwise we can get caught up in the external movement. We want internal movement. And when the internal movement succeeds, then the external movement starts. So you see Srila Swami Prabhupada, his internal movement was so successful that look at his external movement. His society. Without him having that mood, his disciples once asked him, oh Prabhupada, he asked them, what is the difference between you and me? Externally, you can speak like Prabhupada, sing like Prabhupada, talk like Prabhupada, walk like Prabhupada. But does that make you Prabhupada? Is your mood like that of Prabhupada? Do you have the spiritual depth like Prabhupada? Do you treat everyone like, in his space, it's like, you can pretend to be a guru, but Are you lusting after your disciples? Do you want to enjoy their wealth, their possessions, their beauty, whatever they possess? Or do you want to, oh, look at this beautiful flower I can offer Radha Krishna? They see the soul, and they see that soul's potential, and that its nature is that of pure loving service to Krishna. And how can I cultivate that? They themselves are in that position. And so they are qualified like the expert gardener to cultivate that seed of devotion and to care for it so lovingly that it's protected always. They never think, oh, I will pick that flower and smell it. Guru never thinks, oh, I will pick that flower of my disciple and I will enjoy it. From the beginning of their spiritual life to the end of their spiritual life, their only mood is they see that that living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. How can I enjoy Krishna? It's property. I can only serve Krishna. And in serving Krishna, I get supreme satisfaction. So the living entity is also Jive Samandhi. They offer all respect to all living entities. Chodata Purush Abhiman, Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Kinkari Hoilo Gokulakan. This is our process. Chodata Purush Abhiman, Kinkari Hoilo Gokulakan. We want to give up all enjoying tendency towards matter and also towards, we don't want to be an enjoyer, we want to be enjoyed by Krishna. And in that, if we give pleasure to Krishna by our sweet demeanor, by our services, then we don't understand the happiness that comes from that. That is bhakti. We want to enjoy God. How much? But like I was giving this example 2 weeks ago. If we try to make ourselves happy, how good are we at it? It's so hard to make anybody happy, but to speak of ourselves. But generally, we're better at making others happy. It's like it's hard to take care of yourself. We don't spend enough time with ourselves. I know. People are so busy. Oh, they're always serving everybody else in the temple. But how much time do we give to ourselves? But if we give everything to Krishna, He is God. He promises to reciprocate. He will take care of us. He will make sure that we're happy. And He has infinite capacity to give us happiness. So we don't have to worry about it. Simply serve Krishna and offer your heart to Him. Simply offer your heart to Krishna. And have faith and trust that Krishna is your protector, your maintainer, your guardian. Srimati Radhika, she is worrying about you. Therefore we say, give up worry for your own maintenance. Simply, eyes closed, offer your heart to Krishna, and He will maintain you and protect you. And He will give you an intelligence with which you can maintain yourself and others. But that's for Him. It's because you've surrendered to Him that, oh, Manasa Deho Geho Joki Chumor Arpilatua Pare Nanda Kishore. Oh Nanda Kishore. Manasa, my mind, Deho, my body, Geho, my house. Joki Chumor, whatever I have, Arpilatua Pare, offer at your feet, oh Nanda Kishore. Apane Chinta Nai means don't think about, oh, what will I do tomorrow? What will I do next day? Just Hare Krishna. Krishna, whatever I can to serve you. This family is your family, this home is your home, this wealth is your wealth, so I should try to increase it for you. No problem. Yudhisthira Maharaj said, I want to be very wealthy. Krishna said, wealthy? Why? So that people see your devotees aren't just beggars. So that's also bhakti. But it has to be connected to Him. And so we want to offer our heart and connect our heart to their lotus feet and realize our good fortune. It's not enough to be fortunate. You have to realize your good fortune and adopt your good fortune. Take advantage of your good fortune. It's like if you had $1 million sitting in front of you, but you don't know the value of money. You don't know anything. Like a child, you give them a diamond. Well, it's just like, there's stories like this. Oh, a child had like a touchstone. They were just treating it like another plaything. And they used it for some time and then found like a plastic toy and that was more interesting. And then you threw the touchstone aside. So we have been given a touchstone. And we don't want to rush, sometimes problems come when we become like overly sentimental. Rolling on the ground, crying out. The depth of spiritual life is not a cheap thing. It's a lifetime of cultivation. A lifetime of sincere service to Guru, sincere practice. And he said, take pleasure in the sweet, small things. Just the chance to be near Thakurji and and understand the mood a little bit, even if we don't have it. What is the distinction between an external ritual and an internal spiritual experience? What is the difference? We can be doing, this was the first things our Srila Gurudev taught us when he came to the West. People were doing arti and like with great like care in the pomp, meaning like in this some house programs, and like with so much pomp. But Gurudev said like, then he asked them, what is your mood while you're doing arti? How does Mother Yashoda perform arti? When Mother Yashoda, what are we at Gaur Arati time, what is happening? Noon Arati time, what is the mood? Mangal Arati time, what is the mood? Develop the mood, and then everything will come from that. Why am I performing arati? This question should be there. What is the meaning of the incense? What is Mother Yashoda is with the ghee lamp? Sometimes Mother Yashoda does arati, sometimes Lalita Vishaka. With the ghee lamp, Mother Yashoda is looking, does Krishna have any scratches on his body? And she sees a scratch and she thinks, oh Krishna, I'll give some ointment. And he must have been wrestling with the boys, or following the cows. The cows have strong hoofs and bodies, and they're going through the brambles, and their body, Krishna's following, just running behind them, barefoot. He doesn't listen to me. I try to give him shoes, and he doesn't listen to me. And I try to go with him. When Krishna first went to go past me, Mother Yashoda said, I'll go. Nanda Baba said, I'll go. Everyone, all of Braj Dham wanted to go. Cow grazing. Krishna was thinking, this was my chance to be alone with my friends. My first chance. Now Nanda Baba, Parajanya, Vanyasi, Mukada, everyone wants to come on Gocharan. Gocharan is for Sakas Sakis Bas. When the elder Gopas came and saw Krishna doing Gocharan, then a problem came. When Brahma Vimohan Leela was there, the elder Gopas came and then everything became hodgepodge. So Gocharan, Krishna wants to be with his Sakas Sakis. So Mother Yashoda is checking, why does he have these scratches? Why is he so tired? Krishna slept all night. He went to bed at like 8 p.m. And now it's like 8 a.m., 12 hours. And he's sleeping. I try to wake him up. And it's like, oh, he's so tired. It's like he didn't sleep for even a moment. And Mother said, Krishna, didn't you sleep well? And Krishna's thinking, no. Where was Krishna? Krishna is Nikunjara Ghare Ghare. Kavi Jamuna Tata, on the banks of the Jamuna. The soft sandy banks of the Jamuna. Vangsivata, Dhira Samir, Ratna Singhasan, Seva Kunj. Krishna's in Seva Kunj. Seva Kunj is such a place that if anyone goes there at night, they become mad. Therefore, no one's allowed to go to Seva Kunj at night. Why? That's where Krishna every day performs Ras Leela. In Vrindavan, no one goes there. It's like sealed off. Because people have gone, and afterwards, they're like, their ego has just been in a moment just crushed. And yet they weren't ready yet for the spiritual dimension. So they're in like this limbo state between realms. And it's like their operating system has been wiped out, but no new operating system has been installed. So they're wandering around, just mumbling. They don't know what happened. So this is Seva Kunj. Krishna is very active and very busy. So we want to develop the mood. Why are we doing arjan? When we offer bhoga, it's not that we are all doing some kind of ritual. It's that Radha Krishna, the more we should develop a simple sweet mood, natural bhakti, then the more the mood can develop. Means we follow all rules and regulations, but ultimately we want the mood. Radha Krishna are present. Why haven't they? Did they like what I cooked? We see Prabhuji in Vrindavan. Anything goes wrong, he gets so upset. Because for him, Radha Krishna are not a murti. They are real. If someone burns the kheer and offers it, how can you have Radha Krishna? Radharani is the best cook in the universe, and you're going to offer her burnt kheer, and you think by that she'll going to accept you in her kunj or service? It takes a lot of, post-graduate acceptance, to enter in service there. So when we're offering for them, when we're, in the temple, you go and you serve and you're touching Thakurji and your clothes are dirty and you're smelly. That's why I said pujaris, you should use very nice perfume, deodorant, whatever it takes. Make your body nice for Krishna's service. Nice clothes. Everything should be nice. Why? They're real. Vigrahanatumi shakshat brajendra nandana. This is Mahaprabhu said. You are not the idol. You are directly Krishna. And so Krishna or Thakurji is as present as we have love for them and faith and devotion for them. Even in a picture, they're present. If we have enough love and faith and devotion, they're in their name. We say Krishna. Krishna is present. That's why all we need is our japa bag. If we lose everything else, but we have our japa beads, our life is still, we're safe. And even if we don't have our japa beads, someone cuts out we can still chant. Someone cuts out your tongue, you can chant in your mind. And if you chant in your mind constantly, even if you lose your mind, you'll still be chanting. When you chant Harinam, Harinam, you chant 1 lakh Harinam, when you wake up, you'll just be chanting. When you go to sleep, you'll be chanting. And then you'll always be with Krishna. And so, krame krame, bhava pool. Step by step. Don't try to jump. But what Guru Vaishnavas do is they give us a glimpse of the top of the tree. And they tell us, like a star, Arundhati Nai. There's a logic in Vedas, the Vedic teaching. Arundhati Nyaya means the logic of Arundhati, this beautiful star Arundhati. Where is it? Oh, there. You don't know, but you get a glimpse of it. It's also called Sakachandra, another Sakachandra Nyaya. The moon's on the branch. Where's the moon? What's on that branch? The moon's not on the branch. It's very, very far away. But they try to awaken a little bit of a greed for that thing. Swami Prabhupada, when he preached, if he didn't give a mood of sweetness of Krishna as the personality of Godhead, then he wouldn't have this movement around the world. If he didn't have Vigraha Seva, the devotee serving, you see actually how much love, you cannot compare the Vigraha Seva in ISKCON to any other society. Because Srila Prabhupada had that mood. We hear from the Vaishnavas that he would meditate on building altar, on making temples for Thakurji, and serving them with so much love and devotion and splendor as Bhagavan. That manifested. His internal spiritual movement manifested as his worldwide movement. And so we can have an individual spiritual movement, each and every one of us, and then we can, if we become mature enough in it, we can translate that into the manifest world to some small degree. As ever Krishna wants, small, great, that's his choice. But we must go deep. Padam Gurudev was the most deep, and I'll end with this. There's so many things we can hear about Padam Gurudev. But I just want to talk a little bit about the balance that we have to create in spiritual life. Don't be, like pagal, mad, until you're ready to be mad. Pagalini prai. We want to be, prai means a semblance of madness. But that's a very high stage. In the meantime, whatever instruction Guru and Vaishnavas give, follow that with a mood of dedication. Then you can come to Nishta. What I was saying in the beginning. Take advantage of our opportunities that are given. Take advantage of the opportunities of service that are given. Even though it may be hard, understand that in the Vaishnav's order there is great strength and there is great mercy. There's a great jewel waiting to be attained if you complete your quest. And life is not about worrying about the future. We should be here now. Where will we be in the future? That's Krishna's desire and Guru Vaishnav's desire. How long we'll be here, we don't know. No one knows. We could die in our sleep tonight. But at least right now we're here. And we can take advantage. And we don't have to be so chanchal that, what is in that temple? 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 There are some devotees in Vrindavan who they don't go to any artis of the temple they're in. They go to all the artis of the other temples. So Krishna has come for you in this place, but you want to go everywhere else. What are you going to find somewhere else if you don't find it at home? If you find love and affection at home, you don't need to search elsewhere. And that is at home with Krishna. So therefore, by their desire, then we move, we travel. But it's the idea that we have a home and that everything goes, some people are traveling salesmen, but they do everything for their home. They'll work for decades, barely be at home, but they bring everything for their home. So I'm not saying we can't move. I'm not saying we don't travel. We don't do whatever is required. But we need to have a spiritual home. And that home can be a few places. We can have a home. Many people who are very wealthy, they have multiple homes. And that's a very good fortune. We have our original home, Radhakunj, Vrindavan, Mathura. Thakurji in Mathura for 8 years, every day just sitting in front of them. They're the most beautiful, sweet Vigraha. Param Gurudev himself manifested. He told the Murtiwala that unless you see them, you cannot make them. So they said, how can I see them if you don't let me see them? So he gave them mantra. He gave them diksha. And then he said, chant this mantra, and when you see them in your heart, then you can carve them. Same thing with Jagannath. So those Thakurji are so beautiful. But we're not always in one place. We may be, we may not be. But as long as we are, we take advantage of that with a sweet mood, with gravity, with soberness, not taking things cheaply or lightly. Gurudev is we were asking, can you give us a video call? I said, you don't have faith? Gurudev, Prabhupada are here. You don't need a video call from anyone in the world. You have them directly present. Develop faith in that. Develop faith in Thakurji. Thakurji is not a cheap imitation thing. Worship of Thakurji without anugatya doesn't happen. Without desire of Vaishnavas doesn't happen. And without readiness of the devotees, it doesn't happen. It's not a cheap thing installing Vigraha like this and worshipping. It's a very, very serious thing. Any problem that happens in the temple is because of Seva Aparaj Thakurji. Because the whole temple is theirs now. So any kind of negligence, it means, we have to remind ourselves, pinch yourself. I'm here for a reason. And it's a great opportunity, and I want to serve with as much, depth as I can. Chant Harinam and develop a balanced spiritual life. And it includes sacrifice, because we can't do everything in life. But sacrifice doesn't mean lack of balance. Sacrifice leads to balance. So we can't do everything in life. And when we're trying to do too much, then we're restless and disturbed, and we're not balanced. So sacrifice in spiritual life leads to proper balance. We have to choose what do we really want to do, and then make that decision and do it. What do I really want to do in my life? What's the most important priority in my life? And then how can other things serve that priority so that everything works in harmony? And what things can I do? And many things will have to be left aside in the road of life. It's like we're traveling in life and we have so many bags and we're trying to carry them all and it makes us tired. So you can look at your bags. Do I need this? Maybe not. Let's set it down for a while. I can come back for it if I want. Walk a day or two. Do I need this? Set it down, walk a day or two. You can come back for it if you want. But not everything is possible in life. Chanting Harinam should be our priority. Doing seva. And whatever we need to do to maintain our life, it's our responsibility. Our body is for Krishna's service. So therefore we should maintain it nicely for him. And our families nicely for him. But not over-collecting. We want to do everything appropriately. Param Gurudev, for his Guru Maharaj's service, he was constantly engaged. He managed all the temples. 64 temples, day and night. And people were saying, he's always involved in management. Is this bhakti? They were criticizing him to Bhaktisiddhanta. Bhaktisiddhanta is very dear. Bhaktisiddhanta would call him tu, which is the most intimate form of address. Everyone else he called ap. And Param Gurudev was tu. And Param Gurudev would be out till midnight doing errands and work and management. But when he would come back, Bhaktisiddhanta would always have his door ready. You could sleep in my room. Because he was like his own intimate, dearmost friend. He had such intimacy. So someone was challenging and criticizing him. You don't understand what it means to be real sevak. Those who are never sevak don't understand what it means to be sevak. Sevak means constant endeavor to please your object of service. Whatever is required. Padma Gurudev was so busy, he wouldn't have time for anything. No time for tilak. No time for guide. No time for arti. And people were criticized. Oh, he's wearing tilak, he didn't do. Bhaktivinoda Thakur people criticized. Why? It's very hard to understand transcendental personalities. And so we don't imitate, but it's very hard. What is their, how deep they actually are in their spiritual practice. That for Padma Gurudev, a court case was bhakti. That the judge asked him, oh, my whole life I've been involved in court cases. Padma Gurudev had done many. He said, oh, court cases are very good. Radharani took Krishna to court. Krishna was the defendant, Radharani, prosecutor with her Sakhis, and they won, and Krishna was put in jail. And he had to sign his resignation as king of Vrindavan. He is servant of Radharani, and he's bound in her service for all time. And Krishna signed his name, yes. So court cases are bhakti. If your mood is there, and you're doing it for the right reason, everything can be used in Krishna's service. Nityananda Prabhu, is the mood there? Is the relationship there? That's what defines your spiritual life. How much relationship do you have with Radharani's associate? Anywhere along the line. Like an umbilical cord, you want to be connected to them. Then that mother's nourishment will make you very strong, you know. We want to be, like a strong baby, breastfed for many years by Guru Vaishnavas. And we become big, fat, healthy, spiritual baby. And then, a lot of protein, then we can take up their order and try to follow it. But it also means, we can't be everywhere at once, we have to follow the instruction. Padma Gurudev, his whole life he served. And when it became not the desire of the Lord that he be present, all those temples he maintained, he very happily walked away. Without looking back. But he had so much love for Prabhupada. We can measure our spiritual advancement by our love for Guru Vaishnavas. When he would go to Prabhupada's Samadhi place, he would only be able to say, Prabhu. He would break down in tears and he would not be able to speak. So we remember Padma Gurudev. His lifetime is Ati Martya Charitraya, super mundane. We don't have time to get into the pastimes, but amazing things you cannot even imagine doing. Gokshadas Babaji Maharaj's Samadhi was being washed away by the Ganga. And he had helped, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada had given Samadhi, but it was being washed away by the Ganga. With the brahmacharis, they went and they, without any machinery, they excavated that whole area and took him and transported that transcendental form and then moved him into a safe, proper place where we see him now in Chaitanya Mat. And for that service, a court case came against him. So for him, is a court case bhakti or not? He saved his Guru Maharaj's life. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj, how could he tolerate him being swept away? The Samadhi is such a special thing. And Bhaktisiddhanta, who is going to fulfill that task? Kriti Ratna, his name was Kriti Ratna, the jewel of all action. Because he was so capable. And he never was afraid of anything. So here in the ashram, he's our grandfather. And he said the grandfather is more merciful than the father. If the father chastises you, just go to the grandfather and say, don't be so harsh. But the babies, your grandchildren, brother always has special mood and love. So our grandfather is so strong, he never feared anything. Even though he went to court and he was going to go to jail for moving a grave. It's a big offense. But he fearlessly fought this and won. He won like 40 cases in his life. He moved the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his pastimes were performed, was turned into a graveyard because of the animosity of, different dharmics, a different Yavana class. They were so antagonistic towards Mahaprabhu, they took his whole place and turned it into their graveyard. Padma Gurudev in one night excavated all the graves, gave them all liberation in the Ganga, and planted hundreds of trees, and was so expert.
He was growing them ahead of time so that they would be at a certain height.
He grew them ahead of time.
It was a whole plan.
And when they put them overnight, the midnight, you can imagine, it's like, okay guys, midnight operation, SWAT team, everything must be excavated. We plant all the trees and make it look like a garden overnight. And in the morning, people came to where, I don't know, my Baba. Where's my Baba? That tree is there. And everyone started going to complain to the British. The British came, it's like a long way. It's like Krishnanagar. There was no roads, no train, nothing. They had to go by horse or walk. So it's like they had to complain, and finally, the British magistrates and the British Raj, these affairs, it's like, dealing with the village, it's a small little place. There's no temples then. There's no land then. They had to fight for each inch. So they were thinking, okay, finally we'll go and look. And then they came and look, it's a garden, Baba. What are you talking about? And then it was established. This was also Bhaktivinoda Thakur's land.
Yeah.
It was usurped. But the point is, it was there. There was some precedent. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur was so fearless, he could do such a thing that most people would, that sailor's not for me. I can't do that. I'm afraid. Not only one, but so many things. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, when he was being attacked by thousands of people trying to kill him, smartas. Why? Why are you giving diksha and initiation to people who aren't Brahmins? Why are you letting everyone into this path? Why are you letting them become dikshits, Brahmins? And so many other things he was doing. He was breaking up this kind of caste system in regard to how we can serve Krishna, make relation. They were trying to kill him, the smartas and the babajis. And everyone was running for their life. Parvati Gurudev ran to protect his life. And he was so audacious, such a sweet, intimate mood that he gave his white cloth to Bhaktisiddhanta and took his sannyas cloth. And they looked very similar. Like Rupa looks like Radhika, Parvati Gurudev looks like Bhaktisiddhanta. Very similar. And so he was, Bhaktisiddhanta, doppelganger. And if you see certain pictures, he looks very similar, especially when they were young. So he took on that risk, you'd say. That's when Bhaktisiddhanta gave him sannyas. So the point is that the main thing is developing a connection, a relationship. And that means sometimes, it can be like a roller coaster. We'll be tested, we'll go through many trials. Ultimately, somehow we simply pray. When Narottam Das Thakur was sent by Lokanath Das Goswami back to his homeland, he didn't think, I've been rejected from Braj. He thought, now, Lokanath Das Goswami said, now you should go. Your fruit has been, you should go and you should distribute this. And by the efforts of Narottam Das Thakur, Shyamananda Prabhu, and Srinivasa Acharya, Gaudiya Vaishnavism began to blossom. Otherwise, it was at risk of being lost. So therefore, we take the order of Guru Vaishnavas and we pray for the steadiness to follow. That it's not an external activity. We pray for the steadiness to follow the internal activity. And the external activity will very naturally and easily go on. Like we see with our festivals, if there's no Manasi Seva, the festival becomes a chaotic nightmare. Manasi Seva leads to success externally. And so we need to do our Manasi Seva to Thakurji, we need to do our Manasi Seva to Guru Vaishnavas, to Japa, to the Dham, Parikrama. Now it's Kartik month, Brajmala Parikrama. Where are they going today? Where did they go yesterday? What are the pastime places of Krishna? How much have I remembered this? Any activity then becomes bhakti because our body's engaged in activity, but where's our mind? So we want our mind to be at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna and Guru Vaishnavas, and this way we can make our lives successful. We'll sing Kotai Gopal Moy and then Krishna Prem will keep on ours to come. Kotai go premomayi Radhe Radhe Kotai go premomayi Radhe Radhe राधे राधे गो जय राधे राधे কোথায় গো প্রেমময়ী রাধে 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 দেখা দিয়ে প্রাণ রাখো রাধে রাধে দেখা দিয়ে প্রাণ রাখো রাধে রাধে তোমার কঙ্গল তোমায় ডাকে রাধে 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 বৃন্দাবন বিলাসিনী রাধে 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 কান মন মোহিনী রাধে 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 অস্ত সখীর শিরোমণি রাধে 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 বৃষভানুনন্দিনী রাধে রাধে প্রসাই নিয়ম করে সদাই ডাকে রাধে রাধে কোথায় গো প্রেমময়ী রাধে রাধে গোসাই পর ধাকে কেশি গটে অপর ধাকে বংশী বাতে কেশি গতে অপর ধাকে বংশী বাতে একবার ডাকে নিধু গানে অপর ডাকে কুঞ্জ গানে बोलो राधे राधे ओ राधे राधे ओ राधे 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 कोताय गो प्रेममयी राधे राधे कोताय गो प्रेममयी राधे राधे कोताय गो प्रेममयी राधे राधे कसाय पर डाके राधा कुंदे अब डाके श्याम कुंदे एक बार डाके कुसुम बने अब डाके गोवर्धने बोलो राधे 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 ও কোথায় গো প্রেমময়ী রাধে রাধে কোথায় গো প্রেমময়ী রাধে রাধে কোথায় গো প্রেমময়ী রাধে রাধে কোথায় গো প্রেমময়ী ও কোথায় গো প্রেমময়ী রাধে রাধে गोसाई पर्दा के ताल बने अवधा के तामल बने गोसाई मलिन बसन दिए गाय ब्रजे दुलाई गज गजी जाय मलिन बसन दिए गाय ब्रजे दुलाई गज गजी बोलो राधे राधे बोलो राधे राधे कोताय को प्रेममयी राधे राधे कोताय को प्रेममयी राधे राधे कोताय को प्रेममयी राधे राधे कोताय को गोसाई मलिन बसन दिए गाय ब्रज दुला गद बदि गोसाई मुखे राधा राधा बोले बसे नयनेर जले বৃন্দাবনে কুলি কুলি মেদের বেড়ায় রাধা বলি বলো রাধে 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 ও রাধে রাধে ও কোথায় গো প্রেমময়ী রাধে রাধে কোথায় গো প্রেমময়ী কোথায় গো প্রেমময়ী রাধে রাধে কোথায় গো কোথায় গো প্রেমময়ী রাধে রাধে কোথায় গো কোথায় স্বপন দ্বন্দ্ব রাত্রি দিনে জানি না রাধা গোবিন্দ দিনে তার চারি ধন্দা শ্রুতি তাকে স্বপ্নে রাধা গোবিন্দ দেখে তার পার চারি ধন্দা শ্রুতি তাকে স্বপ্নে রাধা গোবিন্দ দেখে রাধে রাধে बोलो राधे राधे ओ कोताय गो प्रेममयी राधे राधे कोताय गो प्रेममयी राधे राधे ओ कोताय गो प्रेममयी राधे राधे ओ राधे 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 देखो दिए प्राण रखो राधे राधे सकल तुम्हें डके राधे राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे बाबा निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय गौर हरि हरि बोल श्री राधा धमादार जी की
Namamishwaram Sachit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Namamishwaram Chiranandarupam Gokule Namamishwaram Sachit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Yashodha Diokaladavamanam Yashodha Yashodha Diokaladavamanam Yashodha Haram Rishtam Atyan Tato Drutya Gopya Haram Rishtam Namamishwaram Sachit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Namamishwaram Sachit Anandarupam Lasat Rudhantam Muhurnitram Yugmam Rizantam Karambuja Jugmena Satam Kanitram Rudhantam Muhurnitram Yugmam Rizantam Karambuja Jugmena Satam Kanitram Kanta Mohaswasakampa Rirekankakanta Mohaswasakampa Rirekankakanta Mohaswasakampa Rirekankakanta Sita Greva Damo Karam Bhakti Vadam Sita Greva Damo Karam Bhakti Vadam Namami Shwaram Satchit Ananda Rupa Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Namami Shwaram Satchit Ananda Rupa Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Iti Drik Swaliladhir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Swaliladhir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayanta Tadiye Shitagneshu Bhaktir Jitatvam Tadiye Shitageshu Bhaktir Jitatvam Guna Premadhastam Shatabriti Vande Guna Prematastam Shatavriti Vande Namami Shwaram Satchit Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Namami Shwaram Satchit Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Varam Deva Moksham Namokshavadimba Nachanyam Drineham Vareshadapiha Namokshavam Namokshavadimba Nachanyam Drineham Vareshadapiha Idham Deva Purnata Gopala Bala Idham Deva Purnata Gopala Bala Idham Deva Purnata Gopala Bala Sada me mana savir astam ki manyay Sada me mana savir astam ki manyay Hey Namami Shwaram Satchit Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Namami Shwaram Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Idam Deva Purnata Gopa O idham te mokham bhojam avyakta niler vritam kundalai snigdharataischa gopya Idham te mokham bhojam avyakta nilai vritam kundalai snigdharataischa gopya Idham te mokham bhojam Vyaktanile, Vritam Kuntale Snigdharaktaischa Gopya. Mushva Shakam Patrire Ganga Kanta. Vitam Patrire Ganga Kanta. Muhushcham Vitam Bimbharakta Dharame. Savirasta malam aksharame. Namamishvaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasatpuram Gokule Bhajamana.
Namamishvaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasatpuram Gokule Bhajamana.
Namo Deva Dhamo Dharananta Vishnu Prashidha Prabhu Duka Jalati Magna. Namo Deva Dhamo Dharananta Vishnu Prashidha Prabhu Duka Jalati Magna. Namo Deva Dhamo Dharananta Vishnu Prashidha Prabhu Duka Jalati Magna. Namo Deva Dhamo Dharananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Duka Jalati Magna. Padrishti Vrishati Dinam Batano. Padrishti Vrishati Dinam Batano. Grihani Shamam Agya Medyachi Drisha. Grihani Shamam Agya Medyachi Drisha. Namamishvaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhajamana. Kuverat Manjo Bhadha Murtayvayadvat Tvaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Krito Cha. Kuverat Manjo Bhadha Murtayvayadvat Tvaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Krito Cha. Tata Prema Bhakti Swakame Prayacha. 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 Mokshe Graho Mesti Dhamodareha. Mokshe Graho Mesti Dhamodareha. Namamishvaram Sachid Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana. Namamishvaram Sachid Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana. Namaste Studhamne Spurhadiptidamne Tvadiya Dharayata Vishwasya Dhamne. Namaste Studhamne Spurhadiptidamne Tvadiya Dharayata Vishwasya Dhamne. Radha Damodar Radha Damodara. Oh Namaste Studhamne Spuradhiptidamne Tvadiya Dharayata Vishwasya Dhamne. Namaste Studhamne Spuradhiptidamne
Kariyalvarayata Vishwasya Dhame
O Namo Radhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye
Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya
Namo Radhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye
Namo